Captain Ryan Blake stood on the bridge of the UES Dauntless, the most advanced human starship ever built. Outside the wide observation window stretched a field of shining stars, and at the center of it, glowing like a gem in space, was the Zareth system, home to the alien species known as the Zilari. For years, humanity had searched for intelligent life. They had sent probes, signals, and exploration ships to every corner of the galaxy. When the Zilari responded to one of Earth's messages, the world had celebrated. Finally, humans were not alone. Now Ryan Blake was about to represent his entire species in their first meeting with the aliens. It wasn't just another mission, it was history in motion. "Captain, we are entering Zilari orbit," said Lieutenant Hana, the ship's communications officer. Her voice was calm, but her eyes showed excitement. "The Zilari command ship has opened a docking bay for us. They are waiting." Ryan took a deep breath. "All right then," he said with a confident smile. "Let's make sure humanity leaves a good first impression." The docking process was smooth. As the Dauntless's shuttle detached, Ryan and his small team of diplomats watched through the window. The Zilari station looked like something from a dream, a massive crystal-like structure floating in space, shining with blue and silver light. When they landed, the shuttle doors opened, revealing a corridor of light. The air smelled faintly of something floral, and the walls shimmered as if alive. "Welcome to the Zilari High Embassy," said a tall alien figure approaching them. The alien's voice was musical, each word flowing smoothly. "Please follow. The High Council and Her Grace Princess Eris Valenthir await your arrival." Ryan nodded politely. He had trained for this moment his whole career, but he couldn't deny the excitement building inside him. He was about to meet alien royalty. The throne chamber of the Zilari Empire was breathtaking. It was vast, made of crystal and light, with golden threads of energy running through the walls. Alien nobles stood on each side, their bodies tall and graceful, their skin glowing softly like starlight. Each Zilari's color shimmered slightly, changing tones with emotion. At the center stood the throne itself, and seated upon it was Princess Eris. Ryan had read her file. She was the only child of Emperor Valen, known for her calm intelligence and cold logic. She had negotiated peace between 3 alien factions before she was even 20 by Earth's years. Some reports said she never showed emotion. Not anger, not joy, not fear. To the Zilari, she was perfect. But when Ryan looked at her now, he forgot every line of his briefing. She was beautiful in an otherworldly way. Her hair was like threads of silver light, her eyes glowing with shifting colors, and her posture regal yet delicate. There was a strange grace in her stillness, as if she was a living sculpture. Ryan and his team walked to the center of the chamber and bowed deeply. The room was silent except for the soft hum of the energy walls. Eris spoke first. Her voice was calm, even melodic. "We welcome the people of Earth. Your journey across the void is remarkable. May this meeting begin a friendship between our species." Ryan straightened and smiled. "Thank you, Your Highness. It's an honor to stand before you." He hesitated, then added with a playful grin, "Hello, Cutie." The words slipped out before he could stop them. It was natural for him. Humans often used light humor to ease tension. But here, in a royal chamber full of solemn aliens, it sounded completely out of place. The silence that followed was so deep it felt heavy. Every Zilari in the room froze. Their glowing skin flickered in confusion. Even Ryan's team stared at him in horror. Eris's eyes widened slightly. For a second, her glow dimmed. Then it changed color, turning a deep violet hue that spread across her cheeks and neck. The audience gasped softly. She was blushing. Ryan blinked, realizing what he had done. Sorry, that was..." But Eris lifted a hand to stop him. Her voice trembled slightly as she said, "Human Captain." "What a cutie." Now everyone was staring at him. Ryan scratched the back of his neck awkwardly. "It's a friendly human word," he said. "It means someone who looks nice or adorable. It's not meant as disrespect." There was another pause. Then, unexpectedly, Eris's lips curved ever so slightly, just enough to be called a smile. "I see," she said quietly. "Your words are unusual, Captain Blake, but interesting." Her glow deepened again as if she was trying to suppress emotion. The council members exchanged whispers. For the first time in known history, Princess Eris Valenthir had shown emotion, and it was caused by a human word. After the ceremony, the human delegation was escorted to a resting chamber filled with soft blue lights and levitating seats. Ryan sat down heavily, rubbing his face. Lieutenant Hanna looked at him, half amused and half horrified. "Captain, did you just call an alien princess Cutie?" Ryan groaned. "Yeah, not my finest diplomatic moment." Another diplomat, Dr. Lee, spoke up with a grin. "Actually, sir, she didn't seem angry. More surprised. Maybe even flattered?" Ryan blinked. "You think so?" "Her glow turned violet," Lee said, tapping his tablet. "Based on the cultural files we received, that color represents emotional overload, like embarrassment or joy." Ryan leaned back, exhaling slowly. "Great. I made an alien princess blush during a historic peace meeting. That'll look great in the reports." They all laughed quietly, tension fading a little. Meanwhile, in her private chamber, Princess Iris stood before a tall mirror made of crystal. Her glowing reflection stared back at her, cheeks still tinted violet. She touched them lightly, whispering to herself. "Hello, Cutie," she repeated softly. The strange human phrase rolled off her tongue with curiosity. No one had ever dared to address her like that. No one had ever spoken to her as if she were just a person. She tried to erase the color from her skin using breathing techniques, but it refused to fade. Her attendant, Advisor Lethra, entered quietly. "My princess, are you unwell?" Eris turned away quickly. "I am fine. It is only a linguistic reaction." Lethra raised a brow. "The human captain's words seem to have affected you." Eris's glow brightened slightly. "Do not be foolish. It was merely unexpected." But when Lethra left, Eris allowed herself a small laugh. It was soft and strange. She hadn't laughed since childhood. She whispered again, "Cutie," and felt her heart flutter in a way that defied logic. Back on the Dauntless, Ryan was recording his mission log. "Day 1, he said into the recorder. "First contact successful, though I may have made an unusual impression. The Xelari appear peaceful, advanced, and emotionally complex in ways we're only beginning to understand." He paused, thinking of the princess's violet blush. A slow smile spread across his face. "They're not as different from us as we thought." Outside the window, the Xelari station shimmered like a living jewel against the darkness of space. Somewhere inside it, an alien princess was thinking about a single human word and wondering what it truly meant. Ryan didn't know it yet, but that small, accidental moment would change the relationship between two civilizations forever, and all of it had started with a simple greeting. "Hello, Cutie." The news of the human captain's words spread through the Xelari Empire faster than a solar flare. Every communication hub, research center, and royal hall whispered about it. The phrase "Hello, Cutie" had become a mystery, a shock, and, to some, a strange fascination. For the Xelari, emotions were not usually shown in public. They believed that logic and grace were signs of strength, while laughter or embarrassment were childish. But now their perfect princess, Eris Valenthir, symbol of calm and wisdom, had blushed in front of thousands. The council called it the incident. The humans called it a misunderstanding. But for Eris, it was something she couldn't stop thinking about. In her crystal chamber high above the city of ZerethPrime, Eris sat near a balcony made of glowing glass. The twin suns of her world cast gentle light across the horizon. Yet instead of studying reports or listening to advisors, she was reading something else, a linguistic file on human words. Her assistant, Lethra, entered quietly. "Your Highness, the Council wishes to discuss trade protocols." Eris waved a hand gently. "Later," Lethra hesitated, surprised. "You have been reading human data all morning. Is it truly that interesting?" Eris didn't answer at first. She scrolled through the human dictionary on her holographic tablet. "These human expressions, they are unusual. So many words for emotions. Lovely, cute, handsome, adorable." She paused. "They use these words freely, even to strangers." Lethra smiled faintly. "Humans sound chaotic." "Perhaps," Eris said softly. "But they are also honest." When Captain Blake spoke, his tone carried no deceit. He truly meant no harm. It was refreshing. Lethra tilted her head. "You were not offended, then?" Eris looked down at her reflection in the glass table. "No, I was confused and curious." Her voice grew quiet. "No one has ever spoken to me like that. Not even my father." On the human ship Dauntless, the crew had their own kind of storm to deal with. Every news outlet on Earth was running the same headline. "Human captain makes alien princess blush. First interstellar romance or diplomatic disaster." Ryan groaned as he scrolled through the reports. Great, he muttered. Now I'm the guy who flirted with an alien princess in front of her entire government. Lieutenant Hanna laughed. Captain, you didn't flirt, you were just being human. Honestly, I think it worked in our favor. Everyone's talking about how relaxed and confident you were. Dr. Lee added, the Zellari see us as unpredictable, but also brave. They're fascinated by how we express emotions. Your mistake might have made us more relatable. Ryan shook his head, chuckling. Relatable, huh? I'll take that over intergalactic criminal. Then a message alert appeared on his console. Invitation, linguistic exchange meeting, requested by Princess Eris Valenthir. Ryan blinked. Wait, she wants to meet me? Again? Hanna grinned. Maybe she wants to learn more human words, Ryan sighed. Or maybe she wants to lecture me for calling her Cutie. Either way, I can't say no to an alien princess. The next day, Ryan and his small team arrived at the Royal Learning Hall. It was a huge dome made of crystal and flowing energy beams. The air shimmered with soft blue light. When Eris entered the room, everyone bowed. Ryan did too, though less formally this time. Your Highness, he said. It's good to see you again. Eris's glow brightened slightly, the faintest sign of her earlier memory. Captain Blake, I have studied your language since our last meeting. It is fascinating. Ryan smiled. I'm glad you think so. English can be a bit strange. Eris gestured to a set of glowing chairs. Please sit. I wish to understand human expressions. The word you used before, cutie, has become a subject of great debate among our scholars. Ryan tried not to laugh. Really? You're studying that word? Yes, she said seriously. Some believe it is an insult. Others think it is a secret form of admiration. Which is correct? Ryan leaned forward, speaking gently. It's not an insult. It's a kind word. It means someone looks nice or makes you feel happy to see them. Eris looked thoughtful. So, it is a compliment? Yes, a very friendly one. She nodded slowly, then asked, Would you say it again? Ryan blinked. You want me to call you that again? For linguistic accuracy, she said quickly, though her glow brightened again. Ryan smiled slightly and said, All right then. Hello, Cutie. The moment the words left his mouth, the room lights reflected on her glowing skin again, this time brighter than before. Even the guards tried to look away politely. Eris pressed her lips together, trying not to react, but a small laugh escaped her. That word, she said softly. It has strange power. Ryan chuckled. I think it's just you reacting like any human would. Maybe we're not so different. Over the next few days, Eris and Ryan met often. Officially, it was for language and cultural exchange. Unofficially, everyone could see the growing friendship between them. They talked about everything, Earth's oceans, human music, Zellari art, and the long history of both species. Ryan was amazed by the Zellari architecture, built entirely from energy-infused crystals. Eris was fascinated by Earth's creativity, how humans could paint, sing, and tell stories about love and courage. Once, while walking through the Garden of Lights, a place where plants glowed under the twin suns, Eris asked, Why do humans show emotion so easily? You laugh, cry, shout, even at small things. Ryan smiled, looking up at the sky. Because emotions remind us that we're alive. We've fought wars, faced dark times, but emotions helped us survive. They connect us. Eris looked at him quietly. In my world, emotions are seen as weakness. Maybe that's why your people are so serious, Ryan said kindly. But emotions aren't weakness, Princess. They're what make life worth living. She looked down at the glowing flowers, her expression softening. Perhaps your words have truth. Meanwhile, the Zellari Council grew uneasy. The human influence was spreading faster than expected. People were using new words, smiling more openly, even laughing, a rare sight before. Councillor Vorin, one of the older nobles, frowned. The humans are changing our ways. The princess meets their captain daily. This cannot continue. Another replied. But she seems happier than before. Perhaps that is not bad. Vorin's glow darkened. Happiness is not stability. We must protect tradition. If the princess grows too close to the humans, it may weaken her authority. They decided to observe the meetings more closely. One evening, as the lessons ended, Eris walked Ryan to the shuttle bay. The stars shimmered across the glass ceiling. Captain Blake, she said softly, do all humans speak so freely? Most of us do. Ryan replied with a smile. "We believe honesty builds trust, even if it sometimes makes things awkward." Eris nodded slowly. "I think I like that. It feels free." Ryan turned to her. "Freedom's something we value a lot. It's why we explore the stars, to meet new friends, not to conquer them." Eris studied him for a long moment. Her colors shifted gently between silver and violet. "You are strange, Captain, strange. But admirable." Ryan grinned. "I'll take that as a compliment, Your Highness." She hesitated, then whispered, "And thank you for teaching me what cute means." Ryan chuckled softly. "Anytime." When he stepped onto the shuttle, Eris watched him leave until the doors closed. Her hand rested over her heart as she whispered, "Humans are fascinating." That night she couldn't sleep. The stars outside her window twinkled like living thoughts. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard his voice again. "Hello, Cutie." And though she told herself it was only a human phrase, something deep inside her glowed brighter each time she remembered it. Far across the galaxy, on the Dauntless, Ryan sat by the observation deck, sipping coffee and thinking about her. "She's not just a princess," he murmured. "She's something special." He didn't realize that their simple friendship would soon face danger greater than either world had ever known. Because far beyond the Zareth system, in the cold black of space, an enemy fleet had begun to move, watching both humans and Zalari closely, and for them, peace between the two races was not welcome. The Zalari capital city of Zareth Prime was glowing brighter than usual. The humans in Zalari had spent weeks strengthening their friendship through trade and cultural programs. Princess Eris Valenthir had become the symbol of this new alliance. Every day she met Captain Ryan Blake, studying languages, stories, and the values of Earth. But peace never lasts forever. Beyond the border of Zalari space, in the cold, dark region known as the Void Drift, a silent fleet was moving. Black ships shaped like knives glided through the shadows, invisible to normal sensors. These ships belonged to a species called the Vorn Dominion, a race known for conquering weak worlds and stealing technology from others. To them, peace between two rising powers, humans and Zalari, was a danger. Their leader, Overlord Caithrex, stood on the bridge of his massive warship, his red eyes watching the holographic image of the Zalari system. "Two young races joining hands," he hissed. "That will not be allowed. Prepare the fleet. We will strike before they become too strong." The Vorn ships charged their weapons and disappeared into hyperspace. The invasion had begun. On Dauntless, Captain Ryan was going through reports when an alarm echoed through the bridge. Lieutenant Hanna quickly stood up. "Captain, I'm detecting energy spikes at the edge of Zalari space. Unknown signature." Ryan frowned. "Show me." The screen displayed dozens of massive ships entering the system. They were dark, sharp, and moving in perfect formation. Dr. Lee whispered, "Those aren't Zalari. Their readings are completely different." Ryan's stomach tightened. "Send a message to the palace. They need to know immediately, within minutes." Ryan was standing once again in the royal command chamber beside Princess Eris. The Zalari council members were gathered, their expressions filled with worry. A projection of the invading fleet flickered above the table. Counselor Voren, who had always been cautious of humans, said bitterly, "We told you this would happen. Your human presence has drawn danger to our world." Ryan stepped forward. "With respect, Counselor, that's not true. The Vorn Dominion attacks anyone they see as peaceful or weak. They would have come whether we were here or not." Eris looked at him, her glow calm but firm. "Captain Blake is right. The Vorn have threatened us before, but now they bring their full fleet. We must act together," Voren protested. "We do not fight. We are diplomats, not warriors." Eris turned to him sharply. "Then we will fall without ever trying." Her glow brightened with determination. "I will lead the defense myself." Ryan followed her to the strategy room where holographic maps of the system floated in the air. Zalari officers stood ready, waiting for her command. "Your Highness," Ryan said quietly, "we can help. The Dauntless is armed with railguns and plasma cannons. We've faced battles before. Combine your shields with our firepower and we'll stand a chance." Eris looked at him thoughtfully. "You would risk your crew for us?" Ryan smiled slightly. "Of course. We don't abandon friends." Her glow softened. "Then, we stand together." For the first time in Zalari history, human and Zalari ships formed a joint battle fleet. Engineers worked side by side, adapting technology, translating codes and planning formations. The calm halls of the royal city filled with the sound of engines and marching feet. Hours later, the skies of GalacticPrime turned red. The Vorn fleet had arrived. Their ships came like a storm, cutting through orbit with heavy plasma fire. Energy bolts hit the outer defense satellites, tearing them apart in flashes of light. On the bridge of Dauntless, Ryan gripped the command chair. All hands to battle stations. Focus fire on the lead Vorn destroyer. The human guns roared, bright lines of plasma slicing through the darkness. 2 Vorn ships exploded, their fragments burning in the upper atmosphere. But there were too many. Solari defense platforms activated their energy shields, glowing like blue domes around the planet. Princess Eris commanded her people from her royal flagship, the Radiant Star. "Redirect shield power to Sector 3, she ordered. "Protect the human ship, they're drawing too much fire." Ryan's voice came through the channel. "We're fine, Princess. Just keep those shields steady." Eris smiled faintly. "You humans never stop talking, even in battle." Ryan laughed. "It keeps us from panicking." The battle raged for hours. Every explosion shook the heavens. The Vorn unleashed gravity weapons that bent light and space, pulling ships into crushing waves of energy. The Zalari ships struggled to maintain formation. Then the worst happened. The Vorn flagship began charging a planet destroyer cannon aimed directly at GalacticPrime. Ryan saw it on his scanners. "They're targeting the surface." "We can't let them fire that thing." He turned to his crew. "Prepare the railgun for overdrive. We'll punch through their shields." Lieutenant Hanna hesitated. "Captain, if we push that hard, the gun could overheat and explode." Ryan nodded grimly. "Then we'll just have to shoot first." The Dauntless turned sharply, engines glowing red. The massive railgun aligned with the enemy flagship. The ship's systems screamed as power built up. "Fire!" A blinding streak of light shot from the Dauntless, tearing through space. It struck the Vorn flagship, ripping through its armor and shattering its shield. The explosion was so massive it lit up the entire orbit. Cheers filled the human bridge, but only for a second. The blast wave hit Dauntless hard, disabling its shields. Warning alarms blared as sparks flew across the control panels. Ryan fell against the chair, coughing. "Damage report!" Hanna shouted. "Shields down! Hull integrity at 60%. "Hold together, girl," Ryan whispered to the ship. On her own command deck, Princess Eris saw the human ship burning in the distance. Her heart jumped in fear. Without thinking, she shouted, "All ships, move to cover the Dauntless. Protect them." Her officers stared in shock. "Your Highness, if we do that, our flank—" "Do it," she ordered. "They saved us. We will save them." The Zalari ships moved in perfect unison, creating a glowing barrier in front of the Dauntless. They absorbed hit after hit, their shields flickering. Ryan watched on his damaged screen, eyes wide. "She's protecting us." Inside the Radiant Star, Eris stood at the center console, hands trembling from exhaustion. The ship's shields were weakening fast. Advisor Lethra tried to pull her back. "Princess, you must retreat. The fleet will follow your signal." Eris shook her head. "Not yet. The humans are still out there." Then Ryan's voice came through the comm, crackling with static. "Eris, you've done enough. Get your people to safety." Her voice trembled but stayed steady. "I will not leave while you fight for us." For a moment, the two just listened to each other through the chaos. 2 different worlds, standing as one. But the battle wasn't over. The Vorn regrouped, preparing a second attack. Their smaller ships swarmed toward the planet. Ryan looked around at his crew. "We can't take another hit like that. Hanna, send this message to all allied ships. Focus all fire on the Vorn carrier. Take it down together." "Message sent." The human Zalari fleet moved in unity, their combined weapons forming a storm of light. The sky turned white as energy beams and plasma fire crossed paths. One by one, the Vorn ships fell apart. The enemy's formation broke. Finally, the last Vorn cruiser exploded, lighting the sky like a sunrise. Silence followed. Only the faint hum of damaged engines remained. When the battle ended, Ryan and Eris stood together in the Zalari Council Hall once more. The city outside was damaged but still shining. Eris looked tired but strong. "You humans fought with bravery I have never seen before. Many lives were saved because of your courage." Ryan smiled, his uniform still scorched from the fight. "We didn't do it alone. You were amazing out there, Princess." For the first time, she didn't hide her emotions. Her glow turned soft pink as she looked at him. "I had inspiration," Ryan laughed quietly. Don't tell me I inspired a princess, she smiled. You did. And next time you say your strange human words, I may not blush. As much? Ryan grinned. I'll try to keep it professional, but no promises. They both laughed gently, the sound echoing across the quiet hall. Outside, the stars sparkled over the rebuilt fleet. Two worlds united not by politics or power, but by trust and courage. And though the war had just begun, a new bond had been born in its fire. The calm of space after the first Vorn attack was short-lived. The Vorn Dominion had regrouped, bringing reinforcements far larger than before. Across the Zareth system, alarm signals echoed in every human and Zalari vessel. Captain Ryan Blake stood on the bridge of the Dauntless, gripping the console as he watched the incoming fleet. They've brought more ships than I expected, he muttered. Lieutenant Hana's fingers danced across the controls. Sir, hundreds of vessels. They're faster, stronger, more dangerous, Dr. Lee added. They're targeting the Zalari home planet. If they breach the outer shields, it could destroy everything. Ryan's jaw tightened. Not on my watch. He turned to the comm panel. All units report readiness. We fight together. Humanity and Zalari united. On Zerath Prime, Princess Eris Valenthir stood at her flagship's command deck, the Radiant Star, watching the approaching fleet. Her skin glowed faint violet, a mix of calm and tension. She placed her hand on the holographic map, plotting the fleet's approach. We will not allow them to take our world, she said firmly. Her voice carried authority. Focus all defensive energy on the outer perimeter. Deploy interceptors to the asteroid belts. Civilian evacuation is priority. A young officer looked worried. Princess, if we spread our forces too thin, then we fight to hold them back, Eris interrupted. They will not reach the planet. Ryan arrived on the Radiant Star with a small team of bridge officers. Eris met him at the entrance, her expression both serious and relieved. Captain Blake, she said softly. You returned. I was concerned. Ryan shrugged, smiling despite the tension. Wouldn't leave you alone to fight the Vorn. We're stronger together. Her glow brightened slightly at his words. Then we fight as one. The battle began with a deafening roar across space. The Vorn fleet emerged from hyperspace like a black storm. Their weapons glinted red in the starlight, their ships moving with terrifying precision. Ryan's Dauntless and Eris's flagship moved into formation. Human railguns combined with Zalari energy cannons created a storm of light and power. Interceptor ships darted through the void, weaving between explosions. The Vorn fired first. Energy bolts slammed into the front shields of the Radiant Star, shaking the bridge violently. Eris gritted her teeth, her hands moving with expert precision. Divert all auxiliary power to shields, she ordered. Ryan shouted, Brace for impact. The entire human crew leaned forward as the Dauntless shook from the Vorn's plasma hits. Sparks flew across the consoles, alarms blaring. For hours, the two fleets clashed. The stars themselves seemed to burn with the intensity of the battle. Zalari ships used energy beams to slice through enemy formations, while human vessels fired rapid bursts of railgun rounds. Ryan noticed a group of smaller Vorn cruisers trying to flank the Radiant Star. Princess! He shouted. Left flank! They're coming around. Eris didn't hesitate. Deploy interceptors. Focus the shields! The Zalari ship surged forward, intercepting the attackers. Explosions lit the darkness as Ryan maneuvered the Dauntless to provide additional cover fire. Suddenly, a massive Vorn supercarrier appeared, larger than anything either humans or Zalari had ever seen. Its weapons glowed ominously, preparing to fire. Dr. Lee gasped. That's a planet buster. If it fires Zerath Prime, it won't survive. Ryan's eyes narrowed. We can't let that happen. Full attack formation. We take it down now or we lose everything. He turned to Eris. Princess, we'll need to combine your fleet's energy wave with our firepower. We hit it at once. Timing has to be perfect. Eris nodded, determination in her glowing eyes. Then we do it together, Captain Blake. Both fleets moved into position. Ryan coordinated the human ships while Eris orchestrated her Zalari vessels. The supercarrier's shields glimmered like a dark sun. Ready, Ryan said through the comm. On my mark. Mark, Eris said. A burst of energy from the Zalari fleet lit the void. At the same instant, Ryan fired the Dauntless's railgun. The combined strike hit the Vorn supercarrier directly. The explosion was massive, lighting the entire battlefield. Shockwaves threw ships off course. For a moment, silence filled space, broken only by the hum of damaged engines. The supercarrier was gone. The remaining Vorn ships faltered, confused by the destruction of their leader. Seeing their enemy weakened, the human Zalari fleet pressed forward. Rapid strikes tore through the remaining ships. Every move was coordinated, every command precise. Princess Eris worked tirelessly at her console, giving orders, adjusting shields, and even correcting trajectory of falling debris to protect civilians. Ryan admired her calm focus. "You're incredible," he whispered to himself. "Not just a princess. A warrior." The battle finally reached its climax as the last of the Vorn ships tried a desperate retreat. Human and Zalari forces chased them to the edge of the system, forcing them into hyperspace before they could regroup. The space above GalacticPrime was littered with debris, glowing wrecks and trails of fading energy. For the first time in days, silence returned. Ryan and Eris floated in their respective command decks, exhausted but victorious. Eris turned to Ryan, a small, genuine smile on her glowing face. "We have defended our worlds, thanks to you." Ryan grinned, shaking his head. "No, Princess. Thanks to both of us. Your people fought brilliantly. I only helped where I could." Her glow softened to a gentle pink. "Still, you are unusual, Captain Blake. Brave, clever, and reckless. And somehow you make even a princess feel human." Ryan's cheeks warmed. "I think that's a first compliment from an alien princess." She laughed softly, the sound like music among the stars. "Perhaps. But it is true. You remind me that we are not so different. Courage, honor, friendship. These bind all living beings." Later, in the quiet of the royal city, Ryan and Eris walked through the Garden of Lights, the bioluminescent plants glowing after the battle. Both were tired, their faces and bodies showing the marks of the fight. Eris stopped and turned to him. "Captain Blake, thank you for standing with us, for trusting me," Ryan smiled. "I didn't have a choice. You wouldn't let me walk away." Her glow brightened slightly as she stepped closer. "No, I would not, and perhaps I am glad you did not." Ryan's heart skipped a beat. The stars reflected in her eyes, shimmering with soft colors. "You know," he said quietly, "I meant what I said the first day. You are amazing. And well, Cutie." For a brief moment, Eris froze, her glow turning violet again. Then she shook her head, smiling in that quiet, charming way that had haunted Ryan's thoughts for days. "You humans," she whispered, "are impossible. But you are also remarkable." They laughed softly together, a small moment of joy after the chaos of war. In the aftermath, GalacticPrime began repairs. The Zalari and human teams worked side by side, rebuilding defense platforms, restoring communications, and healing the injured. The victory had come at a cost, but the bond between the two species had grown stronger than ever. Even the stern Counselor Voren admitted grudgingly, "Humans, your presence may have saved us." The princess made the right choice. Eris simply smiled, her glow soft and warm. "We fought as allies. That is what matters." Ryan looked around at the repaired ships and bustling city, thinking of how far humanity had come. They had faced the stars, met new civilizations, and now had proven their courage, not through conquest, but through friendship and bravery. And somewhere in the quiet glow of the garden, the princess blushed again, this time not from embarrassment, but from a feeling she could not quite name. It was something new, something human. The battle was over, but the galaxy had changed forever. GalacticPrime glimmered with the light of recovery, its crystal towers repaired and its cities buzzing with activity. Everywhere, humans and Zalari worked side by side, sharing skills, technology, and laughter. Captain Ryan Blake stood on the observation balcony of the Radiant Star, overlooking the capital. He could see children playing among the glowing gardens, scientists exchanging ideas, and fleets of ships patrolling the rebuilt defenses. The stars beyond shimmered like distant promises of adventure. Princess Eris Valenthir approached him silently, her presence calm yet radiant. Her glow was soft, reflecting the twin suns above the horizon. "You've done well, Captain Blake," she said, her voice melodic and sincere. "GalacticPrime is safe, thanks to your courage and humanity." Ryan smiled, shaking his head. "We didn't do it alone, Your Highness. Your people fought bravely. You fought bravely. I just kept the guns pointed in the right direction." Eris's violet glow shifted to a warm pink. "You have a way of humbling even a princess," she said softly, stepping closer. He looked at her, a small grin forming. "I'll take that as a compliment." She laughed lightly. The sound was rare, gentle, and filled Ryan with a sense of wonder he hadn't expected. In the weeks that followed, humanity and the Zalari established a formal alliance. Trade routes opened, educational programs started, and joint scientific projects began to flourish. Humans learned to harness the Zalari energy crystals, while Zalari learned about human engineering and medicine. Yet, for Princess Eris, the biggest change was personal. She had never laughed so freely, never shared meals or stories without ceremony, and certainly never allowed her emotions to show in public. But Ryan had shown her a different way, a way where being yourself was not a weakness but a strength. One morning, Ryan walked through the crystal gardens of GalacticPrime, accompanied by Eris. Bioluminescent plants glowed underfoot, casting shifting colors on their faces. "Captain," Eris said, her glow faintly violet, "do you think humans will continue to visit our world?" Ryan looked at her thoughtfully. "Of course. We've only just begun. There's so much to learn from each other. And besides," he smiled, teasing slightly, "I plan to visit as often as I can." Eris's glow brightened. "I see. That is acceptable." They reached a quiet fountain where water shimmered with the colors of the galaxy itself. The air was peaceful, a stark contrast to the chaos of the past weeks. Ryan sat on the edge of the fountain, gesturing for her to join him. "You know," he said, "it's funny. When I first met you, I called you, well, Cutie. I never imagined it would change anything." Eris looked down, faintly pink. "I never imagined it would affect me. As it did. That word, it forced me to see beyond ceremony, beyond duty, to see the person in front of me." Ryan laughed softly. "Glad it worked." Her smile widened. "It worked. Because you were honest and because you cared for more than your own interests. You humans, you are strange, reckless, but also remarkable." Ryan's eyes met hers, the twin suns reflecting in both of them. "Remarkable, huh? I think I'll keep that one." Months passed. Humanity built its first embassy on GalacticPrime, a place where diplomats, engineers, and students from both worlds could meet. Princess Eris acted as the ambassador, guiding humans and Zalari alike. Her relationship with Ryan evolved naturally. They were partners in diplomacy, friends in exploration, and allies in defense. Every time Ryan spoke, Eris's glow would subtly shift, a faint reminder of that first moment when 3 words had started something extraordinary. One evening, at the Grand Embassy ceremony, Ryan and Eris stood side by side, watching humans and Zalari mingle. Music played, blending human instruments with Zalari harmonic crystals. Laughter floated through the air, and even Counselor Voren looked on with approval. Eris leaned slightly toward Ryan, her glow a soft violet pink. "Captain Blake, I must admit I was hesitant at first. You're kind, unpredictable, emotional, and dangerous in ways I could not imagine." Ryan chuckled. "That's humans for you." She smiled, touching his shoulder lightly. "Yet it is your humanity that brought hope to my people. You reminded us that courage, kindness, and honesty are stronger than fear." Ryan grinned. "Guess I'm more useful than I thought." Her laughter filled the room, light and sincere. "You are more than useful. You are unforgettable." The next day, Ryan explored GalacticPrime with a small team. Children ran ahead, giggling as they followed them, while humans and Zalari worked together to repair minor damage left from the battle. Ryan paused at a quiet terrace, looking out over the horizon. "It's beautiful here," he said. Eris appeared at his side. "Yes, and soon it will be even more so. Together, we will build a future that neither species could achieve alone." He turned to her, his grin teasing yet warm. "Do you think that's why the Vorn attacked? Because they feared what we could achieve together?" She nodded slowly. "Perhaps. 2 young races united, too strong to ignore. But we survived, and we will continue to thrive." Ryan looked at her, feeling the weight and warmth of the moment. "You know, Eris, for a princess who never used to show emotion, you've changed a lot." Her eyes met his, a soft glow radiating pride and happiness. "And you, Captain Blake, have taught me that showing feeling is not weakness. It is life." Ryan laughed quietly. "I'll take that as a compliment." Again. Eris tilted her head, violet and pink hues mixing across her skin. "Perhaps You should speak that word once more. Ryan grinned, recalling the moment that had started it all. He leaned slightly closer and said softly but clearly, "Hello, Cutie." Her glow deepened, vibrant and warm. For the first time, she didn't hide it. She laughed softly, her voice like music blending with the stars. "Hello, human." The simplicity of the words, the honesty behind them, reflected the bond they had built. It was no longer a joke, no longer a mistake. It was the beginning of a lasting connection, a promise of friendship, respect, and understanding between two species. In the following weeks, the galaxy began to take notice of the new alliance. Humans and Zalari worked together on exploration missions, scientific research, and defense projects. Humanity was no longer just a fledgling spacefaring race. It had become a respected partner, admired for its courage, creativity, and adaptability. Princess Eris, once the untouchable figure of calm and authority, now walked among her people with newfound ease. She smiled more freely, laughed more often, and even taught humans the subtle art of Zalari meditation. Her bond with Ryan remained strong, an example of interspecies friendship that inspired both civilizations. One peaceful evening, Ryan and Eris stood together on the terrace of the new human embassy. The twin suns dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with shades of orange, pink, and violet. Ryan looked out at the city below, then turned to her. "You know, Eris, the galaxy is full of wonders, but I think this place, this moment is one of the best I've ever seen." Eris's glow shimmered softly. "Indeed, we have faced danger, uncertainty, and fear, but through it all we found trust, courage, and friendship." Ryan smiled, a teasing glint in his eyes, and maybe a little blushing too. Her violet glow deepened, turning to a soft pink that made her appear almost ethereal. She shook her head, smiling. "Perhaps I'm a little, but it reminds me that life is more than duty. It is connection," Ryan grinned. "Then I'll keep reminding you if that's okay." Eris laughed softly. "It is more than okay." As night fell over GalacticPrime, the stars shimmered brighter than ever. Humanity had earned a place among the stars not through war but through bravery, honesty, and compassion. The Zalari had learned that showing emotion was not weakness, and the humans had learned the beauty of a world far different from their own. And at the center of it all stood two figures, bound by respect, trust, and a friendship that began with a simple phrase, "Hello, Cutie." A phrase that had started as a joke became a spark, and now symbolized the bond between two species. Humanity had proven itself worthy of the stars, and the princess who once never blushed had discovered a new way to see the universe. The galaxy was wide, full of challenges and adventures, but Ryan and Eris knew one truth. Together, they could face anything. And in the quiet of the embassy gardens, under the glow of alien suns, they laughed, talked, and shared dreams. Humans and Zalari united as friends, allies, and explorers of the cosmos. A new dawn had begun,